Somehow shortly. In Pasuk states, Oz Yavdil Moshe Sholish Orim. At that time, Moshe Rabbeinu set aside 3 Orim, 3 cities. Shtetlach. What were those Shtetlach? Those are Orei Mikvot. If somebody takes a life, B'shoigeg, Parag B'shoigeg, so if the safe in the Goyal Adam, the next of kin, or from a Ben Mishpacha who wants to take Nekomet, so he should be safe, so he goes to Orei Mikvot. Were the Orei Mikvot from which Shevet, did Moshe Rabbeinu set aside the Shorim? They were from Shevet Levi. Shevet Levi were the Gdolim, Tzadikim, the Talmidei Chachamim, the most outstanding Talmidei Chachamim Hokim from the Klal Yisrael. So why did Moshe Rabbeinu choose to put them between, what kind of cover is that for the Talmidei Chachamim, that they have Hareg B'Nefesh, B'Shoigeg, you have somebody that's accused of manslaughter, he should be in their darams. By us here in the civil law, the way it works in all countries, a jail is set aside special only for criminals, only for those that are ganovim, rotzchim, Pardobin and mention Mishchosim, the worst of the worst. And here, the Torah Gdoshim, Moshe Rabbeinu, he puts them in a sphere by Talmidei Chachamim, because Moshe Rabbeinu and the Torah Gdoshim, understood why does he go up to the straight path? Why is he a Ganef? Why is he Roseach? Why does he do all these things? It's because of his lack of exposure to Ruchnius, to Kedusha, to Torah. He was not exposed to that. And as a result, so he goes out naked, completely completely naked from any kind of reach of Kedusha. So in order for him to give him the right therapy, he shouldn't sit with other Ganovim. Well, Ganovim, when they sit in jail, what do? They sit and they talk shop. They tell over how clever they were in committing this crime and that crime, how they got away with it for the longest time. That's for them a therapy. They'll come out of jail, they'll go into jail a criminal, and they'll come out with a diploma that they'll be a completed criminal. There was in our time, there was for the longest time, somebody committed a crime. His home mishpacha used to down here. He and his home mishpacha used to down here, and he came home from work one day. His business was in right outside of Williamsburg, in a really nice neighborhood, and he lived in the 5 towns in Woodmere. So when he got out of his car in Woodmere, 2 thugs got out of a van, shot him, and escaped. and they ran away and they abandoned the van that they were driving, and for the longest time it was an unsolved crime. Police had nothing to go by. All they had was some cigarette butts, and what they call that, how they can investigate evidence.
The DNA.
What?
The DNA. DNA.
DNA, and it's called something else.
Forensic.
The whole method.
Forensic.
What?
Forensic.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. Yeah. So it was not that developed yet. And that wasn't quite developed as it is today. Today it's much more highly technically. It's much more developed. So they found cigarette butts, and they preserved them, and they realized they had that understanding that one day it'll be so developed they'll be able to analyze more and more exactly who identify somebody for that. But and years passed, and the crime was unsolved until they somehow they found other evidence. They found a canceled checkbook or something from that firm that he owned, that the one who was that was killed. They found that also in there. So they finally came up with some kind of a suspicion who the murderers might be, but they didn't have enough evidence. Forensic, that's right. Forensic technology was not that well, so they didn't have enough evidence. So what they did was they found them. They couldn't find them anywhere. They were looking for them who they thought might be the criminal. Why couldn't they find them? Because both of them were sitting in jail for another crime. So I guess they found them, and they took a cell in one prison, and they wired it to record everything that goes on. And first they brought in one of them, and made it like a Town of Bethel, like it just happened. We brought in one of them to be in that cell, and then a short while later, they put in the other one also. It didn't take long. They're not going to talk about Rabbi Tzois or Tzoisis or Rashi or something. What are they going to talk about? They spoke about how they got away with that crime. Until today, nobody found them. And all of this was recorded. All this. Also, like we said, the forensic, they analyzed the saliva on the cigarette butts, and it showed it was their blood type, and that they finally solved the crime. So this is why somebody who's a criminal has to find himself in a much higher environment, an environment of Torah Kedusha in Ruchnis. And finally, very finally, there was a Yid who every night after he came home from work and ate supper, so he picked himself up and he went away to Beis Medrash. When he came to Beis Medrash, he was a well-to-do businessman. When he came to Beis Medrash, he sat down, and he listened to a shir, he had a chavrusa. He would sit down and it wouldn't take long, and he'd go right to sleep. He'd fall asleep into the Beis Medrash. Just happened night after night after night. People are curious to know. He didn't look homeless. He was very well dressed. But if I was I'm chef, why should you bother him to ask him what he's doing here? So nobody wanted to ask him any question. He didn't make trouble. He didn't make any bittul Torah. Didn't make any kind of noise. He just sit there. Finally, somebody took it into their hands and diplomatically approached him. He said, Rabbi, your intentions are so noble. You really want to sit and listen to Shir. But you come home after a day's work and you're so tired you fall asleep. Maybe stay home a day or two, rest up, and then you'll be able to listen to the Shir wide awake. So he says, I'll tell you the whole story. He said, I, unfortunately, in my youth, I was not exposed to the study of Torah. My children, my boys go to yeshiva, my girls go to Beis Yaakov. They come home at night. They need help with their homework. What am I going to say to them? I'm sorry, I can't help you. I don't know it. It's going to, and I should take out a newspaper and read the news and read the stock market, put on my slippers and take a cigarette. Like this, I tell them, I'm going away. I'm sorry, I can't stay home. I'm all day in business. I have to go sit in this. I have to sit and learn for an hour or two. So imagine they look at their father. Look what kind of impression I make in the house. What kind of environment I create. They see the father who's so tired after a day's work. He's got nothing else on his mind besides going to the research to sit and learn. So that's what the hashpaya of an environment is. Chananya, ben Akashi Oimer, Rotsa, Parishok, Ozakis, Yisrael, the Tviko, Kibran Tero Mitzvah, Shnema, Adonai Chovis Man Tzitkoy, Yagel Terv Yadi.